Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. Please do not adjust your lighting at home. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing good. Better than the Oilers. That was, I think, one of the worst games. It was maybe the worst game of the year. The score flattered them, and they lost. Yeah. They lost 5-3. Score definitely flattered them. It could have been 5 or 6 or 7-0. And I mean, the grade A shots weren't that bad, but it just like the real, it was. Let me just see here. The grade A shots were 14-10 for the Minnesota Wild, with the subset of 5 alarm shots 7-5 for the Wild. But the Wild just dominated this game. It was in some ways a treat to see before Kaprizov got hurt a little bit by Kajula there. Kaprizov and Boldy working together, man. What a partnership. Those guys can play hockey.
Yeah,
what did you think?
Real good, eh?
Yeah, Kaprizov is an amazing hockey player, man. He's good. Bruce?
Yeah, well, it was this was a mismatch, to be honest. And I'll say this at the risk of being called an excuse maker. The schedule wasn't Edmonton's friend here. Playing in Montreal Monday, Ottawa Tuesday, Edmonton Thursday, 3 and 4 nights in 3 cities is what some experts or pundits, shall we say, call a schedule loss.
Yeah.
And when you're playing against a team better than you, you're probably going to lose it, even if you're on your home ice. And the Oilers were slow and sluggish and just not really tuned into this game.
And when you're losing 4 of your top players, so Hyman, Arvidsson, Kane, Nurse. That's your cat. 4.
She's back.
She's back.
She's been on the wrong side of that door 3 times in about 4 minutes.
It was kind of like
Doesn't matter which side, it's the wrong side.
Yeah. I watched the scratching at the door. I was watching this scary kind of a horror comedy movie last night, Ready or Not. It's from 2019. Oh, yeah. And I recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's kind of very funny, and it has a great performance by the lead actress. Mm-hmm. And anyway, the scratching kind of reminded me of that movie. There's always kind of in scary movies, there's always scratching at the door. Bruce, let's do our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. What is your good thing?
Yeah, I got to go with the start of the game, David. Goal in the first 30 seconds for the Oilers. I mean, it's pretty hard to complain about that. Draisaitl from McDavid. I mean, obviously a beauty way to start the game. Doesn't get any better.
Executioner shot.
Yeah, executioner's shot from 134 feet. McDavid won a face-off outside the defensive zone, and he turned it back to Draisaitl inside the blue line. And he obviously wasn't trying to ice the puck. He was trying to go cross ice with it. And his shot hit, I think it was Kaprizov on the skate. And then it bounced up and through Middleton. I'm not sure if Middleton tipped it or not. The darn thing was, I don't think it was bouncing. I think it was sliding, but it was on one edge.
It was
kind of turning like a curling rock. And Marc-Andre Fleury came out to play the puck and shoot it aside rather than stop it and do something with it, because it wasn't going that fast and he didn't want it to be in his crease for long. And just as he went to shoot it, the puck took a wild hop and sideways hop and high enough to go over his paddle and through his legs and into the net. What a miserable, embarrassing way to start the game for him. And just like that, it was 1-0 Oilers. And all I could think of was Vesa Toskala. Who let in a really, really bad goal. Was he with Sharks Center Islanders? It was like a 426 bouncer that just kept bouncing sideways, and he never really got in front of it. And the last bounce was just a little wild one. Just look up Vesa Toskala terrible goal, probably find
Was
it
it?
for you on
Bruce,
Google.
I've never seen a bounce like that. But Bruce,
Uh-huh.
I don't like to brag, but I have been working on my telekinesis
Uh-huh.
exercises. So
Uh-huh.
just saying, you know, I've
Okay,
never
well,
seen.
that was a pretty favorable bounce. Edmonton got a couple of them in this game. They got a couple favorable calls too, and they still got waxed.
And it always felt like they were going to get waxed, even though they're
Oh
getting
yeah,
all the breaks early on.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just never, it never felt like they were in this game. Like a break like that early in a game should be a backbreaker. And then they get a goal call back, like a good goal, hardworking goal. They get it called back. Like those two things should set your team back. And the Oilers should have been on the front foot, but they were not.
Never were.
I personally have never seen a bounce like that, Bruce. And all I can think is the puck was
Oh,
on it, spinning on an edge, and then it suddenly slid down to a different edge and popped up with the concussion on the ice, somehow popped up. It was an amazing bounce. Like if you did a pull shot like that, uh,
I'm looking
that
at
was
the
just.
Vesta goal right
Oh, you
as we
are.
speak.
Did the puck jump like that?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. The
It did, eh? With
it
Toskala?
bounced several times, and every bounce was different because the puck was spinning, and so it kept hitting different edges and stuff. And the YouTube video is called "Unlucky Bounce." Vesa Toskala lets one in from 200 feet.
So, but
And
it
he
was
was
that
with
one was
Toronto at the time in the end
okay.
zone replay. This is the one.
All right.
Boing, 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 and in the net.
But it was boinging all the way. This one seemed like a very
Yeah. Oh, it
straight,
was
like it
almost
was
sliding, and now
curving,
whoop,
just
up and
sliding in,
over.
and all of a sudden it jumped in the air. It was astonishing.
And
Bruce,
Leon's going to the bench saying, "What the hell happened?"
I thought Pod Colson might have got it. Uh, my good thing, Bruce, is another good bounce. And you know, we've talked about the Oilers not getting bounces this year, like having a low shooting percentage, and a lot of it, you know, they've got tons of grade A shots, and they haven't been rewarded as you might expect for that. But tonight they got the bounces, and Perry's goal, it was a very nice wraparound, I must say, and it was a very important goal. The Wild are up 2-1, and the Perry comes back. There's the cat. The cat came back. Perry comes in, swoops around the net, and it's a very nice wraparound because it's not just to the corner of the net where you expect the goalie. He takes it right to the middle of the net and kind of throws it across the crease a bit, and it hits the skate of a Wild defender. I think it's Spurgeon, and
Jared Spurgeon, Edmonton native, and very, very fine NHLer, one
yeah,
of my favorite players.
yeah.
But he
So
was in the wrong place at the wrong moment.
yeah, and it goes in. So two great bounces, and the Oilers somehow are in this game, which they have really no right of being in. It's 2-2,
Yep.
and I think it's time we move on to our bad things for a segue to
They
our bad things.
they stayed in it for uh
3 minutes and
3 minutes
7 seconds.
after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's going to be my bad thing. It's going to be the 3-2 goal.
Yes.
And it was just another uh, uh, Fuster cluck in the Edmonton zone. And first of all, our new player, Kasperi Kapanen, he got beat wide by Brock Faber, who came up the boards, and Kapanen just wasn't able to contain him. And he fired a shot across, and no deflection happened. That one didn't go in the net, but the aftermath was that the puck kind of bounced out into the middle of the Edmonton slot, and there was four Oilers all around it. Four Oilers all around it, and not one of them made a proactive move to go get the puck. They were all sort of doing after you, Alphonse, after you, Gaston, except for I don't know what Gaston and Alphonse's third and fourth brothers are called, because they also didn't do anything. And Minnesota guy jumped on the puck in the slot, and can't even remember how the heck it went in the net. All I know is that Marcus Johansson uh, was able to bang it home from close range, and it was just sort of typical of the negligence with which Edmonton defended for or offended for much of this game. It was just not quite a gift, but just one team was on the front foot and one team was very much on the bad foot, back foot. And again, I'll say that schedule maker probably had something to do with this. There was not a lot of juice in the Edmonton Oilers tonight, and they just were not. What did Jason Arnott say? Wasn't really into it. They didn't seem like they were really into it.
Yeah, it was like negligence, reckless endangerment of a goal against. Yeah, it was Stetcher, Nuge, and Skinner who were the prime guys. But
Jeff Skinner,
my bad.
None of them moved.
And none of them moved. Bruce, and this is my bad thing. On all 3 second period goals, especially, 3 Oilers in particular, who I'm going to name on each of the 3 goals, were caught flat-footed. And the first one is the notorious Evan Bouchard, who's getting a lot of flack.
Yeah.
Excuse me. A lot of flack in Edmonton just now. And it starts early in the sequence because the puck shot in to Ekholm's to the corner, but Ekholm's battling a guy in front of the net. And instead of reading the play, it's like instead of Bouchard standing there too, so it's 2-on-1 in front of the net, 2 Oilers and 1 Wild player, and Ekholm's battling away with this guy. So Bouchard should think, oh, well, X got the guy in front of the net. Maybe I should go get that puck in the corner. Maybe I should switch. But he just stands there and watches. So then that starts the whole problem because someone's got to go to the corner. So Derek Ryan goes to the corner and he loses a battle. And then Kajula gets sucked down into the corner. So now there's 2 guys down there and puck gets passed back to the point, wide open, look from the point. Meanwhile, Bouchard's still standing there kind of at the side, and he's backing away more and more and further away from the net as this play's unfolding. And the puck goes in, and I think, is it a rebound or it hits someone, and it goes right to Bouchard's man, who should be Bouchard's man, but Bouchard's like 3 feet away, still standing there, not moving in the entire sequence, flat-footed as the puck goes in the net. So he needed to move initially, and then he needed to move to the shooter, and he just stood there the whole time flat-footed. The same happened with Josh Brown on the 3rd goal that you're just talking about. As all those 3 players were battling in the slot for the puck, Brown's standing by his goalie watching the whole thing. Instead of moving up towards the play, like maybe I could help out, or maybe I could go cover someone. And when Minnesota does recover the puck, there's a 2-on-1 down low, but Brown's way out of position to stop the pass. So that there's a cross ice pass and it's slammed in the net because he's just standing there flat-footed. The 3rd goal is of that period by the Wild is late in the period, and it's Henrique who's caught flat-footed. He fails to dump the puck in, and then the puck goes out to center ice, and he decides he's going to take a stab at it, so to speak, like try to, it's a 3-on-3 rush, should be a 3-on-3 rush. He's going to take a stab at it though, as the Wild players come on headlong attacking him. He's standing still and he kind of lurches forward a bit, and they go right around him because he's not moving. Like, it's easy to go around a player who's not moving, and that's what happens to the veteran player, the veteran defender, Adam Henrique, caught flat-footed on that play. They go in and they pass it around and they score. It just 3 cases of, experienced professional hockey players standing there, which happens, right, in hockey. Like, in hockey, players do get confused by the play, and they're not alert, and they're not on their toes, and they're trying to figure it out, and they have a brain glitch. But if it happens against a good team, they're going to punish you. And that's what the Wild are, a good team right now. Oh, yeah. And they punished the Oilers for being flat-footed.
Repeatedly.
They did, yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, they had 2 parent goals called back, one for a offside challenge, which was exceedingly close. Mm-hmm. One frame to the next. And I wasn't entirely convinced that the first frame showed the puck fully over the blue line, and the second one showed both puck and player over the blue line. Anyway, they got that call, or would have been 1-1 within 2 minutes of getting the lead. And then they got one later where there was a scramble and Skinner was trying to cover it, and they shoved the puck through and under him, and I think they got that call right, but it
I
just as
think they
easily
did get that
they
call
could
right.
have
Yeah.
just as easily have gotten it wrong as they've proven it many, many times in the past. But this game could have been without the bounces Edmonton got and without a couple of calls that Edmonton got. This game could have been a very embarrassingly one-sided game. Minnesota was by far the better team, by far.
It was embarrassing actually, and it was a
It
real.
was painful to watch.
It really was, Bruce.
And like I said, I wasn't even sort of totally blaming them because I was just thinking third and four nights, all that travel, they just don't have any energy, and you can see it. And
Yeah.
you want to crap on them for that? Well, fill your boots. But
Plus down,
they just didn't have it. They
plus
just
down
didn't
the
have it.
Nurse
And down
Arvidsson came
three,
in behind
down
them.
yeah, down $24 million worth of players.
Yeah.
You know,
You can go so far before you're
right?
you're starting to ice your decade of darkness, like
Hmm.
line up as many people have been saying in recent days. So, yeah. All right. What's your number?
Well, I got to go with 28. Is that? Am I reading it right? Maybe it's 26. I can't tell the sixes from the eights on here. 26-46, I guess it is. Adding them across. Matthias Ekholm's ice time tonight.
Wow.
And let's throw in 24-40, Connor McDavid's ice time tonight on a night. Like I say, he didn't really have anything, and Ekholm didn't, playing their third and four nights. And these are the same guys they're going to be relying on Saturday against Rangers. And my question, I like Chris Knobloch, but my question for Chris Knobloch tonight would be, why, with your team trailing 5-2 in the third period of a game, they're obviously and deservedly going to lose, are you going to the well and putting those guys out, for 2.5 minute shift, pulling the goalie? And they had a decent shift at the end, or at least, create some pressure. But so what? I mean, they got a game on Saturday night. Now they got, several of their top guys, Draisaitl, McDavid, Ekholm, Bouchard, who've all basically played 70 minutes of hockey since Monday. And they're going to have to find another 23 or 25 minutes on Saturday against a very tough Rangers team who unfortunately also lost in Calgary. So they'll be coming looking to bounce back and take it to the Oilers. So it's my concern is a little too much focus on the short term and not recognizing. I had the same complaint against New Jersey Devils when they lost a game 3-0 that they were going to lose. It was clear they were going to lose before the third period even started, and Knobloch just kept pouring it on in terms of ice time for the top guys, and they they didn't have it in them. So why burn reserves? So
And Bruce, this isn't so. The Oilers are getting to be an older team in the NHL.
are they ever?
And what do you expect with an older team? Injuries. And what do you expect? Like lack of resilience in tough parts. Game
Mhm.
after game after game. Lots of not as much bounce back.
Yeah.
So this is a concern, right? And it kind of highlights maybe some design issues in the off season of adding lots of older players.
Yep.
And at least until Stan Bowman came around and added Podkolzin and Emberson,
Hmm.
um, not adding younger players. So just kind of a strategy that maybe was not that well thought out. I just wonder on free agency day if they thought they were going to sign both Skinner, like if they knew they were going to get both, maybe they would have chosen one or the other. But maybe it just so happened that it almost came, the timing was such that they just thought, well, we lucked into Skinner here. Oh, and now Henrique wants to sign back with us. Well, we
Hmm.
can't say no to that on a discount
Right.
contract. I wonder if that's what happened. That was the kind of the good seeming good luck of that day where they got
Mhm.
both those players on seemingly discount contracts, but two players in their 30s, and suddenly you're not adding any young guys. You're trading a young guy in Ryan McLeod. Um, Anyway, we're going to have 5 days off here, so we can get into a deeper conversation about the makeup and the building of this team. I think in a podcast at that time. Bruce, my number
Yeah.
is. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, just they have three forwards that are under 30 years of age.
Yeah.
And tonight they were all on one line. Um, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Vasily Podkolzin, who
Well,
are
the new guy,
27, 29, and 24. No, the new guy's 30.
Kapanen,
They're all 30. Oh, yeah, yeah. They're all 30, David. They're all
isn't he
30,
28,
32,
Bruce?
34, 37. He
I
is the
think he is.
same age as Zach Hyman and Connor Brown because he was a rookie on the same team they were rookies on, Toronto Maple Leafs. So
Let me check.
Kasperi. Oh, wait a minute. No, you're right. He's 28. My
Yeah, I
bad.
just did the story on him, so
My
uh,
bad. He's 28.
he's not a spring chicken, but he's still in his hockey prime.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Bruce.
Well, yeah, they got four guys under 30,
Yeah,
including the guy playing his first game with them. So
and we see
he
what
replaced
Podkolzin
Hyman.
and we see what Podkolzin and Emberson bring, right? Like the physicality that they bring, the energy that they bring. It's just they just have a different vibe in a lot of ways than the other players on the team, and they could use two more guys like that, like, and Noah Phillips, one of them. So anyway, but again, let's get into this in a more fulsome way. Early next week when we're looking for when we have a break in the schedule, and we'll do a podcast then perhaps on where the orders are right now. Bruce, my number is 3 in 734. Drake Caggiula played 734 and he got 3 hits. Now he's not young, but he's super hungry. 3 years out of the NHL, super hungry, and he wants to make an impact, and he's doing it when he's out there. Like on Perry's goal, he was key to that goal because he was the guy at the side of the net battling away. I don't know if it was with Spurgeon that he
It
was
was with
battling away.
Spurgeon,
So
yeah.
he's battling away with Spurgeon, and the puck goes in off Spurgeon. That's Caggiula, and so 3 hits. Like that's the second most hits on the team in the whole game. The leader was Casper in his first game with the Oilers, 4 hits. So he's trying to make a statement. But Caggiula is next with 3, as did Josh Brown have 3. But Caggiula just does it in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And one of the hits
Hmm.
is, I think, an excellent hit on Kasperi Kapanen, which could have been a game-changing moment. Like he went
What, he got
after
hurt?
a big player and he hit him hard, like right at center ice hit, and I think it was a legal hit. And that's what he should be doing.
It's
As he,
Kaprizov, Kirill
yeah,
Kaprizov? Yeah,
he should be
okay.
trying to nail Kaprizov. What did I say? Uh,
He said
Kapanen.
Kasperi Kapanen,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Kasperi Kap.
KK, now he's
Okay, I
getting,
got
I
the
can see how
KKs
you got him
mixed
mixed
up.
up.
So he nailed Kaprizov with that hit. And I liked the hit, and I thought it was a big moment in the game. It could have been a turning point in the game that finally woke up the Oilers. Like
Yeah.
here's Drake, he's made a big hit. Their stars knocked out of the game for a second. Could be a momentum shift. That's what a fourth line player should do, is make the big hit, and stir things up, get the other team riled up, and try to take advantage of that. But the Oilers didn't have it in them. They don't have that kind of oomph tonight. And let's face it, they've had that kind of oomph in about half the games this year, and they haven't had it in the other half. Even the games where they have the oomph, it's a different kind. Like they are a brilliant puck possession team at times, but not all the time. And tonight they weren't. Minnesota did a better job at that.
No, I assume when you say big player, you mean like an important player? Kaprizov, he's a tank, 5'10", 202.
I mean,
So he's a
super important player.
fair size, but yeah, a very, very important player to them. And that was kind of a weird hit. I couldn't decide if it was dirty or not, but he did shake him up a bit. And I
I
think
think he did try to get
Kaprizov
shoulder, like he did try to
sold it a little
hit with
bit.
his shoulder, I think.
Yeah, I think Kaprizov maybe sold it a little bit too. And he went off in pain. And like any good soccer player, he was back on his feet running hard in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was very it was very that's a
He's a
good
whale of a player.
comparison.
Fun to watch. Him
Oh,
and
see, ever
Boldy
he's
together. Just
fantastic. What a fantastic player Kaprizov is. And he was like a fourth or fifth round draft pick. Like what an amazing, maybe third round, but what an amazing hockey player. And what a find for Minnesota in the draft. wow, because he's just come on and he's a powerhouse with the puck. There's a I've been putting McDavid and Makar in their own class of player in the
Right.
NHL. Kaprizov has that electricity, that same kind of puck skill and passing ability. Like he's maybe just a little below that, but man, he's close. He's an electrifying and brilliant attacking hockey player. And I don't want to see him hurt. I'm not saying
Oh,
that. But I do think, yeah, that's
but
Drake
hitting
Caggiula's
him's
job. Hit
okay.
him. Try
Yeah.
to hit him legally. And I think it was legal hit in the end. It wasn't penalized, and I don't think there's going to be a suspension. I just think it was
No,
just a hard
wouldn't
hit.
have been a penalty. They could have called 2 minutes, maybe. Like he kind of
Possibly.
leaned into him and maybe stuck his elbow out a bit, like Louis said, chicken wing. But it wasn't like he went for his head or anything. He just tried to get a piece of him, and he did. And I think surprised him with that. But
Kaprizov didn't like it, that's for sure.
no,
Yeah, why would you?
no.
Why would you?
Well, yeah, lots of star. He's not the only star player who
Doesn't
thinks he
like
should
getting
be
hit.
skating around with a gold helmet on, so no one's allowed to touch him. Stay too long in the Russian league, maybe.
Doesn't the top scorer on the teams in Sweden and Finland wear a gold helmet or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
no, it's a real thing.
Some crazy thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's
What
like
is
the
that
no
all about?
contact jersey. You're not allowed to crush that guy. Anybody else, fair game, but we don't want the top scorers getting targeted or injured. Like there's a logic to it, but
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
it is.
It's not like
Funny.
there's a quarterback, where they're vulnerable because by nature of what they're doing, and everybody's trying to get a piece of them any way they can. So
I wonder in
anyway,
Finland and Sweden how popular, like, are those the biggest sports leagues in those countries, or are the soccer leagues bigger in Sweden? I think the soccer league's
hockey's
bigger in
huge.
Sweden.
Hockey's pretty huge in
Maybe it
Nordic
is.
countries, and soccer
Yeah.
is everywhere.
Yeah.
But hockey's right there. When they're going to the World Championships and stuff, those countries are right into it,
Yeah.
and it's kind of fun. Like there's and of course a great rivalry between the two of them.
I'm waiting for the world's first great Icelandic hockey player. Have we had one yet, Bruce?
Well, we've had some Norwegians and Danes,
Yeah, exactly.
but
Why not an Icelander? Come on, guys. Come on,
not
Reykjavik.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure there's just
Get
enough
that league going. Maybe they don't have
puck
hockey
being
rinks.
played. They're all
Yeah.
playing soccer now because the Icelandic soccer team got uh, real good there for a few
About
years.
10 years ago, yeah, they were good,
Yeah,
weren't they?
yeah.
Yeah. And that is a big deal. And now the biggest isn't the best
Mhm.
goal scorer in the world from Norway. That guy for Manchester City.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can't remember his
Yeah,
name. All right.
Holland, Irving Holland.
Yeah, what a
So
machine he
two
is.
two moments from this game, David. I think both of them were in the third period, and one was when, or maybe one was in the second period. One was when the Oilers were coming out of their own end and they dropped the pass just inside their own blue line, completely missed McDavid. And the puck was just sitting there in the middle of the ice. And McDavid circled back towards it. And everybody overskated it a second time. And the puck was still just sitting there in the middle of the ice. And it was like, it was
One
Keystone
of those
Cops.
nights, eh?
And
Yeah,
the
one
other
of those
one was,
nights.
it had to be in the second period because they were going the other way. And Troy Stetcher got the puck behind the Edmonton net with 8:10 on the clock. And Minnesota went off for a line change, and he waited behind the net with the puck for about 6 or 7 seconds while Minnesota got their reinforcements out there. And then he slowly picked his way out of Edmonton territory with the puck, and he got not even to center, and he made a pass that got picked off and back into Edmonton. And it was like 15 seconds since he got the puck, and he never even made it to center with it and coughed it up. And I just thought those two, forget who the players were. I mean, I named them, but it doesn't matter who they were. It's just the way the team was in this game was that they just were not in sync and they were not in tune and they were not in the game.
Yeah, God help a defenseman rushing the puck and hoping someone's going to cover for him in this game,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that was not
That
going to
wasn't
happen.
happening.
That was not happening.
Yeah, nor was
Yeah.
anybody making a defensive mistake likely to get bailed out by a 10-bell save, because that wasn't happening either. Just
Yeah, a
make
lot of
sure that
people
the
online, Bruce, are mad at Stuart Skinner. He did let in 5 goals on 14 grade A shots, which is, a couple saves short of what you'd like to see on that many shots, probably. So Stuart
I don't
Skinner
think
is
I don't
fighting
think
it,
it was the
man.
goalie that cost him this game, but
No,
maybe he might have stole it if he was like totally on
yeah, I
fire.
agree. I
But
agree. The team was terrible in front of Skinner, and he couldn't bail him out, and he wasn't much better.
I'm going to sneak in one last number on you.
All
Turnovers in
right.
this game. Giveaways. Matthias Ekholm 5, Evan Bouchard 4, Brett Kulak 3. That's your top 3 defensemen, and they coughed up the puck a dozen times among the 3 of them.
That was actually 4 numbers, Bruce, but we'll let it go.
Well, it's one type of number.
It's a set. It was
It's
a set.
a set of numbers. That's right.
I remember
5
math.
plus
A
4 plus
set.
3.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, let's leave it there, and we'll reconvene Saturday night.
I'm
Correct?
going to that game against the Rangers,
All
and
right.
hopefully they'll get some rest
All
and
right.
be a little bit more raring at the bit, and maybe Nurse will be back. It sounds like he's close. He took a full workout today and stayed out extra and addressed the press after and seemed like his normal self. But there'd be one school of thought saying take one more game and then take a few more days. But
Well, he'll see how he feels tonight, right
yeah,
after a hard workout, and then we'll
yes, how
see.
he's feeling tomorrow will be
Yeah,
a big tell.
because with a head injury, concussion, or whatever it was, we don't know, but they're tricky things,
They
and
sure
if he's
missed him in
feeling,
this
if
game.
yeah, he was playing so well. Finally, he was playing like Darnell Nurse can play. It's just such a blow to the team and to Nurse, and I hope he comes back raring to go and good to go. Like McDavid has come back. McDavid was
Mm.
out, and he's come back strong. But that's a scary injury that Darnell Nurse got for sure. Alrighty, Bruce. Let's leave it there. Thanks for talking tonight.
Say no more. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast. Good night, Ed Whalen.